Hey, what's up, guys? Tate with Lead Squirrel here. Hey, a couple of weeks back, I had sent an email out to the newsletter list asking for some volunteers, people who wanted to have a digital marketing audit done in real time on a video. Jason Shepard from Coastal Wildlife and Pest in Jacksonville, Florida, was nice enough to offer his site up for this video. So, Jason, I certainly do appreciate that. If you're watching this, Jason, just real quick, a lot of things you've done, I'm impressed. So we'll dive in. We'll talk about some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly. There's not a lot of bad or the ugly. And for everyone else watching, anything we talk about in this video is something that you can apply to your own pest control or wildlife removal business or any local service business in reality. But given that we're Lead Squirrel here, the topic of focus is going to be pest control and wildlife removal. Before we dive in, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tate Morgan. I run a company called Lead Squirrel. We offer managed marketing services for pest control and wildlife removal companies. And I'm looking forward to taking you through a little bit of our audit process using the website for Coastal Wildlife and Pest. First and foremost, we're going to pull up the website. I'm going to run through just a quick visual check. The first thing that we do anytime we're taking a look at someone's marketing presence is we're taking a look through just the visuals, how they're presenting themselves, what aspects and elements do we have on the website. Is there anything that we need to add, anything that we need to suggest as might be a good addition or a good removal from the website? Liking what I'm seeing so far. A couple of big things. Logo top left, phone number top right. We've become so accustomed to how things happen on the internet that it's important to have those things in those places because people don't know where to look otherwise. We're so used to seeing those things in those places that if they are somewhere else, we get lost. It decreases the likelihood that someone actually reaches out to you. The only other alternative that I am a fan of is if everything is centered. So you've got the logo and the phone number right in the middle. Other than that, I love it. Logo top left, phone number top. It's what we like to see. I like a call to action button here with the free inspection. That's pretty good. It does a little bit conflict with the 24/7 emergency service call to action in the top left, but I'm not overwhelmingly concerned about it. We aren't hit with so many visual elements that we don't know what to do. Another thing that I do like here, form. First and foremost, right at the top, your home page is going to be your most viewed page, especially coming from intent-driven searches. Someone goes online and searches wildlife removal company near me. If you come up and they click on your website from an organic link or from your Google business profile, they should have a way to get in touch with you quickly. They are already in the mindset of hiring somebody to perform the task they need done. Why not let it be you as easy as possible? Keep that form up in the hero section so people know how to get in touch with you. The only thing I'm not seeing that I would like to see in this section is some kind of social proof. I would like to see maybe a call out to the number of 5-star reviews that they have, maybe a quick snippet of a recent testimonial. You could squeeze that in right down here without overcluttering too much. You could also put a little 5-star banner right up in the top here in the center above the word wildlife up in the header. Either one of those would work. It's just something that I would personally like to see. Scrolling through here, love that we've got a video on the homepage. A couple weeks back, there was a leak from a search engine optimization specialist who figured out how to get access to some of Google's information about their algorithm. One of the things that we learned is that people who use the Chrome browser, their behaviors on your website influence and signal to Google how well you should rank. It's not a be-all, end-all, but it is an influencing factor in the ranking process. One of those things is how long someone sticks around on a web page. A video is going to keep people on, keep people engaged. They're clicking on links, they're clicking on embedded material, so they're interacting with the page, increasing those overall engagements, increasing that engaged session time. That's going to signal to Google that your website is providing valuable information, ultimately increasing the likelihood that you rank higher in search results. Moving on here, really important, individual links to service pages for different species. You want to have individual service pages for each of the species that you provide service for. It's just going to overall increase the likelihood that Google ranks you accordingly in the search engine. You want to be providing contextual, relevant, accurate information about not only the species, but the service that you provide for those species as well. And if we click into one of these, let's take the bat removal page, for example. From an SEO standpoint, a lot of right stuff done here. We got bat removal right in the headline title. This is probably your H1 tag. You've got expert bat removal here. That's great. Another instance of the keyword bat removal. Bat infestation. People use that search phrase a lot. Get rid of bats is another big phrase. Here we go. We got bat removal, control, prevention, frequently asked questions. This is huge. A lot of right things being done here. I'm going to sidebar real quick just out of our visual check because this is something that I would want to look for at this time. We've got an FAQ page here. We've got a frequently asked questions section. What I want to see is if there's any schema built into this page that's going to signal to Google how better to use these questions in context. Now, if you're not familiar with what schema is, lines of code that go in on the back end of a page, and that code signals to Google's little crawling bots that go through and determine the info on a website. These lines of code signal to Google how to use the data that's being presented. One of those types of schema is FAQ schema. This would be lines of code that let Google know these are common questions that people are asking, and these are the answers to them. Now, when you run a search in Google, there's oftentimes a little section of drop-downs that are people also asked, and they're similar questions to what you have searched. This is how you take advantage of that and be able to get placed and ranked in those spots. And it doesn't seem like it would be the biggest deal, but it does influence your overall site rank. So it's something worth considering, something worth going after. To check for that, what I'm going to use is a tool called SEO Minion. This is a Chrome extension that gives you some insights into websites, what kind of SEO work has been done on the websites. So for that, we're going to look at Analyze Structured Data, and we want to look at the JSON-LD. This is where you would find your FAQ schema if it is present. I'm going to move my picture over to the right-hand side so we got a better look at this here. So we see the types of schema that are included. We've got website schema, we've got person schema, some breadcrumbs. Those are important for allowing people to better understand where they are in your website. It also improves the overall crawlability of your website so Google can get more info out of your site. Web page data, that's fine. Image data, local schema, this is huge. These postal address schemas tell Google where you are located. It helps establish a contextual location for a specific page. Really helpful if you want to use your Google Business Profile to boost up your rankings. And past that, I'm not seeing anything else. So one suggestion I could make here is including FAQ schema on this page. If you're using a tool like Rank Math, which I do believe this site is, you can use their schema templates. That's no problem. There's also a couple other WordPress plugins that'll do it. You can also do this manually. ChatGPT can write schema. Google also provides a schema helper tool to create some of this. So regardless of how you do it, it's important to have in place. So back to the visual check at hand, because again, I want to continue looking through this website just from a visual standpoint before we dive into really any other important stuff here. Again, individual service pages, great to have. I really do like this picture as well. It humanizes the brand and lets people know, hey, this is an actual company that exists and they're out there in the field. There's so many lead gen companies, so many things like Angie's List, Home Advisor, those types of sites that you don't know who you're dealing with when you actually contact somebody. I love a picture like this that lets you know, hey, this is our crew, this is who we are, this is who you're going to be dealing with when we show up. Fantastic picture. What sets us apart? These are just some trust building elements. Totally fine with these. Not a lot to critique here. Why choose us? I like this section as well. Shows a couple of banners, a couple of badges. These, I think, are probably a little unnecessary. I would want to see maybe some bullet point content here. Just as humans moving through websites, people tend to not read. Attention spans are just shrinking. So it's worth maybe exploring what you could bullet point in these sections. But other than that, nothing huge, nothing wildly impactful. Testimonials, again, as I mentioned when we started, I would want to see maybe one or two of these higher up in the page. Maybe this testimonial section moves to here or even between this image and the what sets us apart. I just want people to have access to some social proof a little bit sooner in the browsing process. I don't want them to have to scroll all the way to the bottom before they see why they should trust us. So that's just a quick visual look. Really happy with what I'm seeing so far. Everything looks pretty good. One quick thing that I do want to do is I'm going to inspect this page because I can shrink it down and make it look like it's on a mobile device. And I'm going to choose the iPhone 12 Pro, see what it looks like on an iPhone 12 Pro. Pretty happy with this. It's pretty straightforward. You get the form above the fold, which is really important. It means that people see that there is a contact form in place before they even have to scroll or swipe through the site. Really important from a conversion optimization standpoint. One other thing we're going to talk about here in a little bit, this guy right here, the chat module. Really like this chat module. I know a little bit about it just based on what I'm seeing here, and we'll dive into why this chat module is helpful here in just a little bit. Before we go into that, after a visual check, the next thing that we look for is a speed test. We use Google's Page Speed Insights for this. Now, why is this important? Because Google includes your user experience when determining where to rank your website. If Google thinks that users will be unhappy with the experience they receive on your website, Google will be less likely to rank your website in search results. A big factor in that is how fast and how responsive your website is across mobile and desktop devices. Google gives us this nice little tool, the Page Speed Insights tool. That's at pagespeed.web.dev, where you can drop a URL in. Google does some analyzing and spits out some information about how your website performs. Now, this is information from Google, so you can assume that they are using this in their calculations as well. Takes a little bit to move through. That's completely normal. If you're at this point in the video and you haven't yet, feel free to check the link in the description of this video. Sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss the next opportunity to have a site audited in real time like we're doing right here on this video. So we've got the results back. Mobile device, we're struggling a little bit. We've got a performance issue. Anything under 49 is a bad thing. 50 to 89 is okay. 90 to 100 is where you want to be. And then this tool also gives you some specifics about what to fix, how to fix them. First, contentful paint, total blocking time, page speed index, largest contentful paint. What these things mean are various descriptors of how soon content is delivered to the end user once they hit the website. Oftentimes, when we've got issues with contentful paint, blocking time, page speed index, and largest contentful paint, what we are dealing with is one of two things, and often both. The first of which is that images on the site are not optimized properly. You want to have your images as small and compressed as possible. You also want to be contextually using the right sized image for the section that you are presenting the image in. For example, if you have a page that is designed to be displayed at 1080 pixels wide, you wouldn't want to serve a 1080 pixel wide image in a 2-column section. So if you've got two areas side by side, like this here, this is 1 column, this is 2 columns, you wouldn't want to serve the 1080 sized image here and force the browser to resize it. You would want to use a 500 pixel image, a 500 pixel version of the image. Now that's not an overwhelmingly huge deal, but it is good for saving space on the server. Now, that was one of two things that I mentioned. The other thing that is a huge contributing factor to how quickly you can provide a contentful paint and how quickly you are rendering your script blocks is the server itself, your website host. If you have optimized all of your images, you've minified all of your CSS and your HTML, your website's perfect, your marketing team or your website developer, everyone says, hey, we are optimized as we can get, and you're still getting bad results here, 9 times out of 10, the culprit is your website host. You want to get a good website host that can provide this stuff, that can serve images quickly, that can serve blocks of script quickly, because every interaction on the web is a two-way street. I am connecting to it, and then it is serving information back to me. The faster it can serve information back to me, the more I only have to rely on my own connection in terms of how long something takes to load. So, something worth considering. Personally, Kinsta, Kinsta, is a host that we love, provides a lot of good performance. It's pretty expensive. It also provides a lot in terms of support. Another good option is SiteGround. SiteGround is not the fastest in the world, but they're definitely manageable and will provide some pretty good results when optimized correctly. Another thing to note is that you will get a different score between mobile and desktop. So desktop doing a little bit better, not too terrible. Solving the problems that are causing the mobile issue is also going to improve that desktop ranking as well. Overall, something to pay attention to. My thought, looking at some of this, if we're seeing reduce some third-party resources, reduce JavaScript execution time, minimize main thread work, reduce the impact of third-party code, largest contentful paint elements, I would think this is a server and a hosting issue. I would look to maybe change this to a different website host. That's just me. So from there, the next thing we want to take a look at is the sitemap for the site. We want to see how the pages on the site are laid out. This is important both from a user standpoint and an SEO standpoint. So I'm going to go to sitemap, and again, this is where I saw that they were using Rank Math, which is an excellent plugin for search engine optimization. I want to go to their page sitemap. I want to see what kind of pages we're working with, what kind of structure. And so we got our service areas, we got bat removal, so we've got individual service pages like we already talked about, an about page, incredibly important. And we'll see in the wildlife removal section, we also have some sub pages that are specific locations. This is great for search engine optimization. So if you want to show for Jacksonville Beach, you don't want to just have one single page that is built for every single part of Florida. You want to have a specific location page just for Jacksonville Beach. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a couple of these because I want to see how different they are and how unique they are to each other. So right now you see right in the headline, Julington Creek gets its own headline. Jacksonville Beach should as well. Yep. So if we move down, similar content, but not identical. You can see that the text is changing in the paragraphs. Image stays the same, but that's okay. What we want to do is we just want to provide contextual information for that particular location, and we want to have this different enough that Google is not going to flag one or the other as the canonical, meaning the original page, and then the other one is a copy of it. These are different enough that you won't run into that issue, and if you do, you can see it in Search Console and correct it pretty easily. Moving along, we're going to take a look at some SEO stuff here. So this is where you're ranking for what particular search terms and what you could improve upon. We can also use this data to inform our paid search efforts. So this is Ahrefs. This is a tool that we use internally for SEO reporting and SEO documentation. We can see a lot of different tools here, but the important one is going to be organic keywords on the left-hand side. We can see the keywords that they're ranking for, what the changes have been in rank, so we can see if they're improving, if they're losing rank on particular keywords. And we can also see where they are ranking for these keywords. So looking at keywords in the top 10, so here to here, we see a ton of brand name stuff. That's exactly what we'd expect. We see a couple specific service-related offerings too. So snake removal, wildlife removal, Jacksonville wildlife removal. These are all good things. Anything that's falling in that top 10 range is something you have a lot of influence over. You can very quickly affect your ranking up or down with changes to the website. I personally would want to see these specific ones, snake removal, wildlife removal, rodent control, in the top 3 spots. You can do that by adding more content to the pages. You can do that by getting more location or local citations. Any of these things are going to help the overall domain authority of the website, help these specific pages bump up. The one thing I will note is that wildlife removal Jacksonville and rodent control is correct. Wildlife removal Jacksonville is going to the emergency removal page. That's interesting to me because we have a wildlife removal specific page and we've got a Jacksonville specific page. So why isn't that page the one that's showing up? I would look to see what content we've got on the emergency removal page and what we can include more of on the Jacksonville specific page. Right now, if someone searches for wildlife removal Jacksonville and they land on the emergency removal page, if that's not exactly what they are looking for or doesn't provide the right contextual information to Jacksonville, they may leave that website and find a competitor. So just something to pay attention to. Now, how do we use this data to inform our paid search strategy? When we're taking a look here, we know that anything in the top 10 we're ranking for, people are seeing naturally. Anything below that we want to be showing for, we may need to pay for on the Google Ads side while we are still ranking it organically. So if we come down here and we're looking at these ones that are in the 11 spot, the 12 spot, the 13, 14, we see a lot of things. We see emergency bat removal. We see some squirrel stuff. We see some pest exclusion cost questions. I like the exclusion term in there. That means that someone is doing their research, which is a good thing. Any of these you could put into Google Ads and bid on and be the top couple spots instantaneously. We would want to go for things that are high intent, and emergency bat removal is about as high intent as you could possibly be. So we like that one. I would want to bid on that one. It also tells you what your estimated cost per click is here. I assume for that particular search phrase, that's a low estimate. But again, Ahrefs, just providing information from an estimate standpoint as far as the cost per click goes. We could use this to determine, okay, what are people searching for? What are the exact phrases people are putting in? And what should I be bidding on in Google Ads to show up for high intent terms? Emergency bat removal is a great one. Squirrel infestation in house is an informational term, but if someone thinks they've got an infestation, they are probably ready to deal with that infestation. So looking through a report like this can certainly help inform the decision making on the paid search side. Jumping over next and keeping on the topic of advertising, jumping over to the Facebook ad library, I want to see if they are running anything for Facebook. If they are not, that's totally fine. Some people find it incredibly beneficial. We love Facebook, and with some tweaks to Facebook ads, you can make them incredibly effective. Some people don't like. I've found that I would say in 90% of cases, if someone has not had success on Facebook ads, it's because they have gone through the Facebook page ads creator and not through the actual Facebook ads manager platform where you can get a little bit more in depth and tweak a lot of the settings. Really, the success on Facebook advertising comes down to two things: being specific with what you are putting in and testing. You always want to be testing ads against other ads to see what is performing better, what's resonating best with your potential audiences. So real quick, not seeing anything on the Facebook ad side. Doesn't mean that they have not run Facebook ads, but it means they are not currently. At least Facebook is not reporting on any of them currently. So nothing, not a big deal here. Like I said, some people run them, some people don't. We find them incredibly effective, but other people, have differing opinions. So checking out their Facebook page itself, I like that they are active. Congratulations on the Best of Florida nominee, by the way. If you want to go vote for these guys, it's probably a good idea. Full disclosure, they are not a client of ours. I have no affiliation outside of just mutual existence in the pest control and wildlife world. I just calling this out because I like that I see it here. And that was July 10th, so a relatively recent post. June 19th, June 6th. Now, you don't have to be posting on your socials every single day. The most effective thing you can do is be posting 2 or 3 times a week. That would be great, but you don't have to be posting that frequently. Really, what you want to do is establish trust. Let people come on here and see that you do exist, you are still in business, and you are engaging with the community. That's really what this comes down to. One small little thing here, this does link to the website, but you can see in the UTM, which is the code connected to the URL that tells Google Analytics where the traffic came from, this UTM campaign says GMB. When you're looking at your Google Analytics, see traffic coming from your GMB, you're going to assume that it's coming from your Google My Business profile, or now it's the Google Business profile. In this case, it's coming from your Facebook link because you've got a UTM in there that says GMB. It's tricking analytics, or even tricking yourself if you're looking at your reporting in terms of where that traffic's actually coming from. That's not a huge deal, but it is going to impact your analytics and your reporting. So something worth paying attention to. Coming across here, just a quick search to see what we're actually looking like in the search results here. Coastal, Wildlife, and Pest Services showing up for the Google Map Pack. 166 Google reviews. Fantastic work. I can't be happier about that. That's a lot of reviews. Love to see that. 4.9 rating. Really doesn't get much better than that. Getting a lot of reviews on your Google Business profile is one of the best ways to improve your rank quickly. And the best thing that I can tell you is don't shoot for a rush of reviews all at once. Make sure you're getting those reviews over time. Everyone that you're servicing and you're servicing them appropriately, make sure you're asking them for a review. That way they're coming back and speaking to your service a little bit. Love that they've got the products and the service page is linked. That's, you absolutely love to see that. This is what you want to be doing with your Google Business profile. Anywhere on Google Business profile that you can put more information about what you do and how you do it and connect that to your website, you should be taking that action. And if we see this here, if we click on this, should link over to the commercial wildlife page on their site. It does. That's great to see. So now that we've passed the Google Business profile, we've circled all the way back. We're going to talk about some tech enablement, and what that means is how you can engage with a website and make your conversions a little bit easier. I know I mentioned this at the start. Seeing this little live chat module here tells me a lot about what's going on this website from a sales enablement standpoint and using technology to help those sales. So this tool right here that we see, this live chat module right here, is built with a tool called Go High Level. Go High Level is a multi-tool of marketing. It's a CRM, it's a communications platform, it's an analytics platform, it's a tracking and sales platform. It does a lot. One of the things it does really well is sales enablement and automation. We use it internally at Lead Squirrel. There's a million other companies that provide Go High Level services. This one is called Smarter Launch. I don't know anything about Smarter Launch, but I can tell just by clicking on their chat module, this is Go High Level. They're using that particular CRM white labeled in the exact same way that we do, and I'm incredibly transparent about that. Go High Level is a great piece of software. It's incredibly complicated to set up on your own. The learning curve is through the roof. I don't discourage people from attempting it. Take a look at it, get familiar with it. But it's always easier just to work with someone who's familiar with it, and Smarter Launch is familiar with it. We're familiar with it. There's a million other companies out there that provide Go High Level services. If you're looking for sales enablement, Go High Level is a great platform. It's a great platform. So knowing that we're using Go High Level for this means that these forms that we have are also probably connected to Go High Level. This phone number here is probably connected to Go High Level. And why that is important is Go High Level does something really well, which is automations on the back end. If someone fills out this form, we've all heard the phrase speed to lead, right? Everyone knows the faster you get back to someone who reaches out to you, the more likely they are to go with you. What Go High Level does incredibly well is if someone fills out this form, you can set Go High Level up so that they immediately get a text message or an email back in response, connecting with them and establishing that conversation without human intervention. You don't have to have someone on staff who can reach out directly. The system can automatically connect with them. And then you can go and take it even further and allow the system to determine whether or not they are a high priority emergency service and they need to forward on to you, or if there's someone that can wait until the next day and you contact them first thing in the morning. However you run your business, Go High Level kind of work within that framework. So incredibly helpful tool. Love that it's on here. Definitely, I would say that's a good thing to have, and it pushes the overall business forward in terms of outreach and communication. Another thing that I like about Go High Level is if you do choose to run Facebook ads or Google lead form ads, you can aggregate those lead form submissions all in one spot on Go High Level and set the same types of automations up for those as well. So if you've got Facebook lead forms or Google lead forms, you can be automatically responding to those too. Lots of good stuff here. Overall, I'm really satisfied with what I'm seeing on this website. I think that a lot of stuff has been done well. A lot of things have been done correctly. You've got a couple of little things that stand out there, like the page speed issue, the linking issue in the Facebook profile. A couple little things like that that I would correct, maybe some changes to the website. But overall, a lot of the right stuff happening. So if you've got an internal team, my hat's off to them. If you're working with an agency right now, fantastic. They are doing a great job for you. I'm really happy to see that. Curious to see what this looks like 6, 12, 18 months from now with a continued SEO strategy. And again, just want to just to clarify and restate, Jason at Coastal Wildlife is not a client of ours, just a mutual connection in the industry. And he was nice enough to offer his site up for this video. So Jason, I want to thank you again for allowing us to do this here for your site. I hope you've got some valuable insights, and everybody else that watched, I hope that you were able to take something away from this audit process and that you were able to see and learn something in real time as we take a look at this. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Send us an email. I am always around and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you for watching.